The thing that I don't like about the grifters, yeah, we on Fraud Watch now. The thing I don't like about the grifters is like they'll be wrong about something and they'll just double down on it instead of apologizing. That shit is crazy, and the people will follow them. We're getting to a really delusional and weird age, man. And that actually leads me into my next and last batch of articles, which is a bunch of random stuff, but we got a woke update. This one came from David Jaffe. I just randomly hit my For You page. No game developer or publisher is terrified of a company like Sweet Baby Inc. A lot of you folks are just inventing the boogeyman to support your narrative. I've literally had PlayStation employees calls into a show and say none of this shit is happening. We're going to get into that. And before we do, I want to show you this tweet. Literally all the outrage against Assassin's Creed Shadows in the past 24 hours wound up being manufactured. Blah, blah, blah. Look, this guy tweeted, they are literally blackwashing Japanese history. This is insane. And then he posts a screenshot of an article. The notes got his ass. This article is not real. It's not real. They're spreading misinformation. And it makes it even funnier too, because I think this is the second Hokage is his thumbnail. It looks like it. He hated those Uchigas, didn't he? So you know he don't like niggas. And then this one went viral like a few days ago. This guy was claiming that he was a Japanese historian, and he was saying that Yasuke is not accurate, and the grifters just ran with it without any proof. But then he got exposed. He really isn't some Japanese historian. He doesn't even speak Japanese. Apparently, this is an account that changed their name and is cosplaying as a Japanese historian. And in the notes, it says, this user is claiming to be an educator at the Tokyo University, but they don't have anyone under the name of that staff. Instead, it's just a rebranded account by an American trying to farm engagement through Outrage. Now, you remember when I told you these motherfuckers are going on Google Translate and typing in things like, we hate black samurais, it's not accurate, translating it to Japanese, and then copying and pasting the characters into YouTube videos. His tweets are protected now because they're pussy. They're liars. These niggas is liars. And the worst part is they're doubling down on this shit. It's really weird. It's getting really fucking weird, man. Just say I saw something on the timeline. I have a narrative I'm trying to push. I thought it was true. It turns out it is. I'm sorry. I still believe this agenda that's trying to be pushed by the powers to be is real. It's just this situation wasn't. Like you can meet somewhere in the middle, but motherfuckers are just straight up lying. The community notes are goated. We got to get them the fuck out of here. All I'm going to say is the sales will prove how these people don't play these games. And the worst part is these people are in my comment section of my latest video saying this shit is real. Like, y'all got to get on social media and really start reading these community notes. Instead, they delete and pretend it never happened. Yep. So let's see what he says in this video. I think David Jaffe, did he work on God of War? I know the fucking name. Or it might have been not Metal Gear, but Twisted Metal. Is that what he's known for? Hold on, let me Google his name. Yeah, the Twisted Metal and God of War. I was right about both. That's crazy. Oh shit, I was right about both. Okay, let's see what he's saying in his video about these grifters. We got our woke update. The video's unavailable. He removed it. What the fuck? Did somebody re-upload it? Damn, I didn't even get to watch it. That must be why Sweet Baby Inc. isn't tagged anymore. I wonder if it's a... Let's see. Can I find something on him? Say David Jaffe. Put grifters. Somebody re-uploaded. In the age of hedonism and reprogrammed minds, people love the lies and the strife. Yeah. Game developers are terrified of Sweet Baby Inc. This is from what? This has to be the video.
If you're a creative working in AAA, which I did.
YouTube is being really weird. All right, this has to be the video. Let's see what he has to say.
For many, many years.
Same thumbnail.
Put this stuff up to your higher ups.
It's only 4 minutes.
And if they don't see the value in what you're asking for when you ask for consultants, when you ask for research.
This is the video a lot of the grifters use. I guess she's like the founder of Sweet Baby Inc. And I guess she said some things that made them uncomfortable.
Go have a coffee with your marketing team and just terrify them with the possibility of what's going to happen if they don't give you what you want.
Right. And so let me explain really
Asmongold.
So let's just assume for the moment.
If Asmongold comments on it, it must be true, right, guys? I think it's so funny that like we have people who produce this moral high ground content constantly telling people they need to clean up their content, but they won't clean the room. Isn't that crazy? I'm not listening to anybody who lives with roaches. but you want to tell people how to live their lives. You're not clean. What are we talking about?
Everything that she
like
said
literally
was right. Okay, fine. That's totally fine. So what you're saying is you run a company and you are publicly going out and saying, if you don't do what we want,
got roaches in his cup noodles just sitting there.
You have to understand that the market will tear you apart, or not, but they won't. If you're actually in marketing, you'll go, yeah, evidence hasn't really proven that out. That if we don't put a black, lesbian, Asian, Jewish, Muslim,
my man's checking off all the boxes
in the game, maybe there'll be a little bit of a tempest in a teacup that you guys will engineer on social media, but it's not going to matter. Do you know how I know it's not going to matter? Do you know how the marketing guys, who actually are much more privy to the figures than I have, it's not going to matter? Because the number one game last year was also the number one game that the progressive left, of which I'm a proud member of, was Harry Potter. And it was the game that the progressive left said, don't buy this, boycott this because of J.K. Rowling. Boy, they really...
And it was the best-selling game of last year.
Terrified that
That was probably one of the greatest boycotts we've ever witnessed.
Brothers marketing, didn't they? They terrified them all the way into having the number one game because it doesn't move the needle, guys. You're not the majority.
It wasn't Harry Potter, Hogwarts Legacy. Stop. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. It was a Harry Potter game. Yes, Harry Potter wasn't in it. It was in the Harry Potter. Well, actually, don't do that.
Just like the people when we looked at the sales figures for...
it's not Dragon Ball, it's the Cell Saga. It was all about Gohan.
Stellar Blade. It's done okay. It's not even in the top 40 anymore. It's not even in the top 10 in the UK.
But yeah, watch
it's
it.
not even in the top 10 in America.
I don't know. I'm just trying to see what's his take on it. He put out a tweet talking about how the outrage is fake or something. I don't know.
So...
See, game developers are not terrified of Sweet Baby.
There are people that like that kind of stuff.
Basically, he's saying that people are faking, like, because the way the grifters are presenting this information, they're making it seem like, because there's an article going around that Sweet Baby Inc. is extorting Wukong, their developers. So they're going around basically saying that this consulting company is just going to like every game developer and like extorting them, making them change their game and their script. And like it's a crazy like just conspiracy going on, and like there's been tons of evidence that's proving this isn't true. Not to say that they haven't had some negative influence or something like that, but they're blowing it out of proportion. Yo, shout out to the Monstars with the sub, appreciate it.
But to act as if you are speaking for this massive,
the great DEI conspiracy
on either side, Suicide Squad did not die because it was woke. That is dumb. Just as much as
it died because it wasn't good.
Spider-Man 2 didn't succeed because it was woke. That's just dumb. I played...
Do you think they don't know enough, TBH? No, the better question is, do you think they care? It's not about whether... Yo, niggas stormed the Capitol like a year or two ago, whenever that shit happened. That's literal treason, and you have people on the internet defending that shit. Like, we're entering a really weird... people don't care whether shit is true or not. The only thing they care about is what they think. And I think what it is like, I don't know, I can't speak for the rest of the world, but like here stateside, there's a lot of people that are just really struggling. And what happens when you have a lot of people struggling and your government has failed you? Because like I've always said, tear the whole system down, the left and the right. I don't like none of them niggas, bro. What happens when you create a large population of poor people who are miseducated, undereducated, it leaves them susceptible to misinformation. I mean, that's exactly how Hitler took over Germany. Germany was in a very poor state after World War I. It destroyed the country, and the people were just looking for something. They were looking for a savior. They were looking for something to crawl them out of that hole. Here comes this man with this funny ass mustache. He was very charismatic. Brainwashed them into going down a path that, you know, to this day, Germany is still recovering from, even though they've apologized time and time again. Yeah, beacon of hope, basically. And I feel like, at least, I can't speak for the rest of the world, but like there are certain parts of the United States where it's getting kind of weird, where people are so down bad on their luck, they're just listening to anybody, which leaves room for the devil to make a move. And I'm gonna leave it at that.
99% of Suicide Squad. I enjoyed it. I can recognize things that if people point out to me and people say, "Oh, you know, we don't like things that are woke because it feels forced," and you give me some examples, right? And you don't live in a city where a lot of that stuff is normalized. I could see you pointing out things in Spider-Man 2 or Miles Morales that maybe it's like, okay, that felt too on the nose versus just an organic inclusion. But
critical thinking is in the toilet.
Banner in the Hall of Justice, which kind of sort of maybe you could argue it works, but it also did not feel organic. It stood out like a sore thumb.
I think the boys put it perfectly, selling hope to people who have nothing except being a fucking moron. Yeah, people don't have nothing. I think that the issue is a lot of people live in their bubble. They live in a bubble, so like they don't understand how other people live. But there are a lot of people where like, take a state like West Virginia or like New Mexico, where like it's just zombie towns. Motherfuckers is on meth and fentanyl. Shit, San Bernardino here in Cali, Fresno. I'm sure you know something about that, Anon. There are just towns where like there's just literally no economy. Cleveland. And people feel hopeless, which leaves you open and susceptible to shit.
Short of that, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about when it comes to Suicide Squad.
559, baby. Ohio is definitely hopeless.
I'm sorry, I don't.
Yeah, the best thing that happened to Ohio was first LeBron James, but then he left and it collapsed. And then Ohio kind of had a resurgence moment when Elden Ring came out because it was featured in the game. So like they didn't get paid for it, but they had a moment where they got a shout out in Khalid.
And I played it more than you did, probably. If you played it at all.
Other than that, I don't really know what's going on.
The Harry Potter story, if you live in the world I live in of game news, which you do.
Stop laughing, Chad. Stop laughing. We're having a serious conversation.
In that
I'm not gonna lie, this nigga's yapping. I thought he was gonna say something. This nigga's yapping. I'm not gonna lie. He said, "Boy, San Bernardino is so fucking bad." Oh, it must be. When I first moved to LA, that's everybody I met. That was like one of the main things they said. They said, "Stay out of Stockton, San Bernardino, and Fresno." I say, I'm the type of person, nigga, you don't gotta tell me twice. First of all, I'm not going over there anyway. What the fuck I'm going to Stockton or Fresno for? No, nigga. The fuck? You don't gotta tell me twice. All right. You said it's bad? No problem with me. What I say all the time, I do not play away games. No, thank you. I'm comfortable in my hood. I know how people speak in DC. I got family in Atlanta. I got family in Chicago. I know how those people speak. But I am not going to Liberty City in Miami. No, thank you. I don't play away games. I'm not going to Crenshaw. I'm not playing away games. I'm not going to Oakland. You explained it better than he did. We don't play away games. The only time I play an away game is if I'm tapped in. I know somebody there. But just to be wandering the streets, no, thank you. No, I'm not coming to Compton. No, thank you. I'll go to Detroit. I know ethos, but I'm not going to Detroit by myself. No, thank you. You said, what about Essex? Essex, what? You talking about Essex Block? Nigga, you listen to too much G Herbo. What the fuck is that? What about Essex Block? What about G Herbo, man? My family from the South Side, so like I've been in the hood plenty of times in Chicago. It doesn't faze me. You ever drive through Skid Row? Yeah, it's disgusting and depressing, and just a representation of everything that's wrong with America. How the system has failed everybody. What about Las Vegas? It's just hot there. Wonder Woman news. New info leaked for Wonder Woman. It will feature a nemesis system, a predominantly... Nigga, what? Oh, set of villains. A predominantly female set of villains. Like, I don't even know how to say her name. Medusa and Cheetah. Of course, Cheetah. What about... Who's that? I don't know her villains like that. Is a Greek legend a sorceress? A fast-paced, free-flow combat with devastating combos and powerful weapons with the lasso of truth and iconic DC character appearances. The only problem with this news is there's no source for it, unless I'm bugging. Oh, PlayStation Lifestyle, okay. But then I have this one right here too. The story leaked. Oh, I don't want to read that. No, thank you. I don't want to know that. The only problem with that is they just put out a job They're looking for somebody to be the lead director. So like this shit ain't coming out. This is probably what their goal is to make. This game don't exist though. This game don't exist. Shadow of War was one of the best games ever made. To who? You mean what? You mean the game where you had to buy microtransactions to finish it? What are you talking about, bro? Bro, Shadow of War, I almost quit that game because it became so grindy. That is not one of the best games ever made. Maybe Shadow of Mordor, if you want to say that, but Shadow of War, I don't know about that. Wonder Woman is currently in development at Monolith, and now it seems that the game has suffered an apparent leak due to a survey from Warner Bros. Itself. Let's see. The information started appearing online over the weekend, and it shows off concept art from the game as well as a lengthy synopsis of the game. I don't want to know that. Concept art that has been posted on social media has been quickly removed due to copyright claims. While we won't share the full details of the game's story in this article, the document suggests the game will be available on PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. It also reconfirmed that the Nemesis system for Monolith's games are coming. Yep. As for other features, claimed in the game will feature the invisible jet as a method of fast travel. Let's go! Invisible jet! He also said the game's moving feels like a good version of Crackdown. What the fuck? So Crackdown 1 then. Insider Gaming has reached out to Monolith and Warner Bros. Games for comments on the leaks and the timing of the server they supposedly came from. All requests for the comments were declined. It must be true then. Well, at least we know the invisible jet. I'm not gonna read those leaks. I don't want to know. I don't want to spoil it for y'all either. I love Shadow of War, but I don't give a fuck about Wonder Woman. I care about it. I like Wonder Woman. I like the character. They better have some crazy skins for her, some like fire fits. Ain't somebody making an invincible game too? Isn't it like a mobile game or something? Will Gears of War E-Day have multiplayer? Last week, Microsoft had the best. Yeah, let's get to the multiplayer. It better have multiplayer. I'm gonna be mad if this is. I didn't even think about it. What if it doesn't have multiplayer? Yeah, we know about E-Day, Coalition. I want to know about the multiplayer. Origin story. Yeah, we know origin story. Origin story. Emotional tone. Will differ from the predecessors. We know horror. I just want to know about multiplayer. What the fuck? How you gonna put that in the title and then not put the damn section? Okay. One question. Oh, it was different. That was there. One question I got a lot on social media this past week was, will Gears of War E-Day have multiplayer? I personally found the question surprising, but we do live in a weird time of subverted expectations. Every single Gears of War has had competitive multiplayer in some form, and more often than not, a PvE multiplayer mode in a horde. This is true, but it's still worth asking. Still, I sneakily asked Matt Siri if players can once again expect Gears' frenetic multiplayer combat to return. I said sneakily because the team really weren't ready to get deeper into the weeds of gameplay modes and things like that, but Matt did have some reassurances for those concerned. I would say this is the next mainline Gears game. Okay, so it's not a spin-off game, although it's a prequel. Gears has had a pretty clear DNA for gameplay mode, so you can probably anticipate where we're all going with E-Day. Indeed, there are some things about Gears that will never change, like competitive multiplayer, but I was also curious how E-Day will subvert expectations. I don't care about any of that. Okay, so I'm going to take a wild guess, 80 to 90% sure it's going to have multiplayer. They're just not ready to reveal it. Maybe they don't have it all the way mapped out. For Gears of War, do you think the story will have less impact in the story due to you knowing where people's stories go? No, just because the lore is so rich in Gears of War with the Pendulum Wars, then E-Day. Like, I'm curious to see how Marcus ended up in that damn jail cell. I want to see what he did. What if he did some crazy shit where like he blew up a city, so they locked his ass up, and then the COG are falling apart, so Dom had to come rescue him because we needed him for the team. The team had to forgive him. Nah, I think the lore is rich enough to where it's still going to be impactful. Yeah, more Carmine Brothers, because it was a scary event. It was a scary event. It's not like some prequel where they're just making some shit up. It's a prequel that you hear about in the timeline. Gears of War E-Day will be more horror than any old Gears of War, I'm calling it. Oh, they already said it. They already said it in an article I read last week. It's going to be more horror focused, which makes sense because the humans didn't know what the locusts were. They were just fighting for their lives, trying to figure out what's the best strategies. I wonder if they're going to bring back old boy from Gears 1 that died. The one that General Ram stabbed. Was it like Commander Kim or some shit like that? Or General Kim? What was his name? The Asian dude. I want to know more of his story. Like, was he a badass? Was he a badass before he got stabbed up? I want to know, because remember, he was one of the original ones on the team, right? Boom, 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 boom. Want to know why General Ram hate everybody, bro? Yeah, we need that Kim storyline. We need a mission where Coltrane is playing football and he realized he had to retire and pick up a gun. I'm wondering who we're playing as. I wouldn't mind playing as Kim. Yeah, Kim and his squad. It's gonna be fire. It's gonna be fire. I'm looking forward to it. Can you link the Elden Ring video you watched today, the 7+ one? Elden Ring review. Was it? It was Angry Joe. It was Angry Joe, the one where he was 7+. The in-game plus. Go to Angry Joe's channel. It's his latest video. Angry Joe. Black Ops single player campaign requires a constant internet connection. I ain't reading this shit. You read the headline. Joe, if you don't got internet, which if you're in this chat, I'd imagine you do. But if you live in Cleveland, you might not be able to play Call of Duty this year. So just putting it out there for all my Clevelandites out there. Anyways. And last but not least, Tango Gameworks, the studio that got shut down by Microsoft that was under Bethesda. Wait, were they under? I think they were under Bethesda. The ones who made Hi-Fi Rush. They lost their job, but don't worry, guys. Microsoft gave them a pizza party on the way out the fucking door. Isn't that great? Shout out to Jeff Keighley, not addressing any of this, really. Like, it's funny, but it's not. This shit's disrespectful. Like, imagine putting your heart and soul into a new game. It does well, it makes it over and does multi-platform, and then they shut your studio down and it's like, hey, at least we're giving you some pepperoni. It's fucking crazy. Yeah, fuck that pizza, bruh. We want reparations. Fuck that pizza. Justice for Tango. Justice for Tango. I think that's all I got for you. That is all I got for you.